I just chop them up in little bitty pieces. And that way it's easier to mix into the whole mix of the food. Put it into the jars. And the pups, they just love this mix. So they're going to be happy little fellas later, and girls. And I just rough chop it in smaller pieces. I don't need to get real fancy with it. Hi everybody. Guess what I'm making today? Well, I wasn't planning on it, but I had a freezer malfunction the other day, and my food started to thaw. Everything was still cold, thankfully, so I was able to salvage almost everything. But I had approximately 20 pounds of chicken thighs in the freezer. And of course, most of those were for my dogs anyway. But I decided last night to make a big pot of broth with the thighs, and then I'm going to use meat from the thighs and some of these veggies and different things, and I'm going to mix it up for some homemade dog food for them, and I'm going to can it. And I'm not going to go into the canning part of it today, because if you look on my channel, there are a few other videos where I show making canning broth and dog food and such. I just wanted to bring you along for this, just simply because I was doing it and I thought, okay, maybe somebody might want to see. So in this bowl here, right here, this is carrot and celery that I use to flavor the broth with. Of course, I did use a little onion also to flavor the broth, but I don't feed that to the dogs. I took that onion out and threw it out. But they get the carrots and the celery, and it's just a rough chop, and they love that. So I'll take that and I'll put it in this big pot right here. And sorry, I have a canner going right next to us here, so if the audio is a little noisy, that's why. And then right here is the almost 20 pounds of chicken thighs after I picked the meat off the bones and everything like that. So it was from 22 chicken thighs total. Put that in here in the pot. Let me turn it here a little bit so you can see. Okay, so that's the chicken thighs. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in, this is beef kidney. This is approximately 1 pound to 1.5 pounds of beef kidneys. And my puppies love the beef kidney. They just love it. And I'm going to put a can of Alaskan pink salmon in here also. And they love that, and that will help with their omega-3 fatty acids that they should have. Okay, and then I'll just mix it all up. Let me see here. I'll mix it all up. And after I get it all mixed up, and it's going to take me a little while, but because I want to get it, thoroughly incorporated. So I'll mix this up, and after I get it all mixed, I'll put it in the canning jars, and I'm going to use the wide mouth quart jars today for this, I think. Oh, and also what I'm going to do is I have some of this fresh parsley that I cut up yesterday. I'm going to put a little bit of that with the doggy food. And that. And I have some chicken broth here because I don't want it to be too dry. So I just add a little bit of broth to it. And I'll mix it up. I'll get it mixed up, and then I'll show you how I pack it in the jars. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so here they are. I got 7 quarts of dog food, and I'm gonna put them in the canner and can them as soon as my canner is ready to be emptied from what I have in it now. So I'll show you what it looks like when I'm all done. But that's a good way to not have to throw your food out. Now, of course, I would have thrown it all away if it was warm, but it was still cool. Actually, it was cold, and there were still some that had some ice still. So I thought, well, I can do that, and that way I have backup food for my pups, and they just love it. So, because they're raw fed mostly, but I do this for them as a backup because I think that the homemade cooked food is way better than any of the kibbles you can buy nowadays. So, all right, there you go. I'll show you that what they look like when I get them all done. Okay, everybody, here's my dog food here on the right. I ended up with 7 quarts of dog food. And from the broth that I canned, I ended up with 26 quarts of broth. And I also, a little bonus here, I had in a gallon jar, I had some sauerkraut fermenting for the past month, and it was ready, so I just canned it as well, and I ended up with 3 quarts of canned sauerkraut. So I've been a little busy all day today, but this is good. Now I got all this stuff I can put away for my doggies and for me. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful day or evening whenever it is you're watching, and I'll see you again next time. God bless. Bye now.